My name is Serge, and in this lab we are going to query a MySQL or Microsoft database to find out which type and version it is running. Alright, let's complete another lab. We're going to open this in a new tab, wait for the page to load, and we are greeted with a similar page that we always see. We get the hint that this is a MySQL or Microsoft and Microsoft database. And we want to retrieve the database type and version again. So we're going to assume that the injection point is right here. So or1 equals 1, and that works. So we just confirmed the injection point, and now we are going to find out how many columns we have. So we are going to specify order by 1, and instead of, we need to comment the rest out like we always do, and instead of doing this, this will not work, will result in an error because this is not a valid comment on MySQL. So different databases use different types of comments, and for this version, for MySQL, you want to use the double dash with a space appended to the end, and this will not work either because the space is removed from the URL by our browser. So we need to either do this in Burp, or we're going to use the URL encoded space, and that will work. So you would have to append a space or a tab or any other white space or control character here, so it's such as a new line, etc. But you can also use the hashtag, and the hashtag, this will not work either. I'm sorry, you have to do it like this. This will not work either because it is treated as a URL fragment or anchor, and that was why I put DD or whatever here, because this would essentially refer to a name on the page. So if you have an attribute name such as div name is footer, and you write footer here, then what would happen normally is that you get your view scrolls down to the footer. So that's how this works. And that is why it's not actually included in our request, as we can see. Let's see if we specify. All right, intercept is on. I think I messed up some proxy settings. Well, oh, okay, it works now. Let's try to create the footer, intercept again. And we see that this footer is not actually sent in our request. So what we can do is we can add it here, and then it will work. Or we can also URL encode it, and the URL encoded version would be 23, I guess. Oh, turn this off. Yeah, that would be 23, so that works too. But well, all of this is just to say how extremely important it is to know which type of database you are attacking. So now that we can make comments and we can find out how many columns we have, 2, 3, we find that we have 2 columns, and we can use the union select attack. Union select no and no, and I'm just going to use this method for creating a comment, and we've created a new line, and now we want to find out which version we are running, and I suppose one of these is this title and the other one is just a description, so both should be text. So I'm going to go straight to the version, and the version would be add version on MySQL, and I think this is also for Microsoft. And well, we saw before the different versions, as Oracle uses a different way where we had to query the view. And then you also have, Postgres uses the version like this. And this might also work on MySQL, yeah, exactly. So it's a bit weird if you've probably never seen this before if you're not familiar with this, but this defines a system variable. So that's where the syntax comes from. And well, as I said, I always try to throw some extra knowledge in these tutorials so that everyone literally understands what's going on instead of just going straight to the solution. So that's why these tutorials are a little bit longer. And I see that I haven't really been using Burp as of now because we're just doing everything in the URL, but we can always use Burp, and it will make our lives a bit easier because we can just send queries with the repeater, and we can also look at it. We hit Ctrl+C, look at the query, and it's displayed beautifully. Now we cannot send this because this is not a valid syntax, but if we encode it with Ctrl+U, we can always send it and just look at it, send it again, and just hit send. Oh, protocol error. What did I do wrong? Union select, no version. This trading white space. We need to encode that too. So if we select it, Ctrl+U is made to a plus, and then it will work, and we get the version. Well, anyway, that's it for today. Let's wrap it up, and see you in the next tutorial.